Okay, hi Jamie. So for context, this is going to be just a conversation going around how the training impacted you, how you felt before, during, and after, and then we'll just talk about kind of the impact it's had on your work and your stakeholders. But first, can we start off with an introduction for yourself?
Yep, I'm Jamie. I've been a data insight analyst at PFP for just under a year now. Yeah, working in the operations department.
Awesome. Okay, all right, thank you. Let's get into it. Before the training, how did you typically feel when working on data analysis tasks? And can you recall a specific instance where you faced a challenge in your work? And lastly, how did this affect your efficiency or the quality of insights that you provided?
Yeah, definitely. So before the training, I wouldn't have that full appreciation in terms of optimizing a query. So I'd write a query without fully understanding exactly what I'm doing, which has massive implications in terms of, the slot time consumed, the costs. Whereas now I've got that appreciation to think about what is it exactly I'm doing, and
Mm,
if I'm looking to optimize, I know the methods such as like subquerying to address those issues. So one example that I'm working on right now was appreciating what kind of data structure I want, and to achieve that, I had to use some pretty big tables to join and make sure that I'm using appropriate subquerying to make sure that the slot time consumed, the processing power, um, is kept to a minimum.
mm. No, that sounds really good. How often would you say like query inefficiencies were leading to like longer processing times or delays in you delivering insights?
Yeah, I think it's something that I think across our whole team we've been looking to address. There was definitely a fair few queries that were running inefficiently. Um, so it's definitely something we're looking to address, and with this training we are addressing.
Is there like a specific time when a slow query affected your ability to complete a report or deliver on something that the business required?
But I guess yeah, it all feeds back to there was one query we were building for a dashboard, and the query itself was inefficient. Therefore, any subsequent filtering or selections made on the dashboard would be inefficient themselves due to how Looker Studio kind of loads, I guess. So
Mhm.
we were looking to optimize those queries to make sure that the dashboard runs smoother.
Nice. Okay, brilliant. And then in terms of I guess after the training, my question would be how did the training change the way you approach your work? What specific skills would you say you've gained and that you're using regularly? And lastly, can you share a recent example where these new skills helped improve efficiency, reduce costs, or enhance data quality?
Yeah, sure. So I guess prior to training, say if I was doing um, some reporting on, say, aggregations, looking at aggregation metrics. Typically, what I'd do is I would get the table, load it into Looker Studio, do calculations there. But guess from the training, having that appreciation of the benefits of something like BigQuery, knowing that that's more suited to, using as a querying tool, making sure that I'm thinking about, I guess, the modeling, almost like the architecture of the output that I'm providing, and then make sure that that suits to the business question. So one example I was doing was I was getting those monthly aggregations. So in my query now, not only am I optimizing it in terms of what I'm actually querying, but also having an appreciation of how to structure it in I guess, the structuring type I want. So I've got into a type where I've got every single aspect aggregated, and then it allows for someone to come in, self-serve onto what they want to see, what insights they want to see. So it means that I'm not running queries for for the customer, and they can just ask, "Can I have this metric?" I'll say, "Yeah, I can add it to the scripts," and then they can go away and quickly get those
Mm,
insights.
that's brilliant. Is there a reduction in, I guess, the need for debugging queries? Have you noticed anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely having that appreciation for what I'm building at the start definitely
Mm,
leads to less debugging. I think if I have that appreciation of the structure, the benefits, and I guess the benefits and the costs attached to each kind of structure, then knowing that prior to writing definitely reduces errors moving forward. if I was to start a project and I'd write a query to tackle an issue, prior to starting that, if I then write it and then realize halfway through, oh wait, this is actually isn't something that's going to work.
Mm,
If by writing now, I do have that appreciation of what will and won't work. So I could say potentially a couple of days,
mm.
knowing beforehand what's the best solution.
Wow, yeah, and that's huge, right? A couple of days can really make a massive difference in terms of what you can deliver. Yeah, sounds great. And I guess my last question is looking at the bigger picture, how has this training impacted your work and career progression? Is there any improvements you've seen in efficiency, collaboration, or decision making within the team?
In terms of a personal progression side, it's definitely really, I guess, set targets for what I want to do. So not only have I learned stuff, there's also stuff that maybe right now I don't feel fully confident to use by myself, but having them
Mhm,
identified by, I guess, like subject matter experts really shows me what I need to focus myself on moving forward. So if I want to get to, maybe a senior analyst role or beyond and
mm,
above that, having that, I guess, having those points identified by someone who would know is really handy.
mm. And I suppose it's giving you kind of like a starting point, especially on the areas that you haven't been able to do much yet. Like I guess
Yeah.
in terms of focusing on LookML, and which I know you haven't had a chance to, but how do you feel about approaching this now, having had some of that training and those resources available?
Yeah, well, I think all the discussions that we've had on the training calls are really good moving forward. I think it would be a shame if we didn't have those and we started modeling within LookML and then realize, oh wait, this is actually isn't good practice. I think having those good practice rules established and taught to us in data
Mm,
that is really relatable to us is really
mhm,
important. So it's really good for me knowing that when I do move around to um, doing some modeling, I have those training calls on hand to refer to look through
mhm.
to refresh my mind, and then I can provide some real good solutions.
Have stakeholders or people in your team noticed a faster turnaround on delivering your work or any of the insights that you're providing?
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. There's some, yeah, I think being more confident in doing more complex queries, I think it opens up when I'm servicing customers via tickets or doing ad hoc requests, having that ability to tackle those complex requests means people do feel like I'm more reliable to use,
Mm.
which is really good and means we get to do more fun analysis projects, which is really good to do.
Yeah, for sure. And you're really building that trust with your stakeholders, aren't you, as well? That's great. That's really really good to hear. Thanks, Jamie.